Hey guys, it is Monday, May 18th, and we are on American Revolution lesson 11. So these are your objectives for today. We're going to work on some more subject-verb agreement, some morphology. I'm not going to be reading any new chapters today, so you have two videos to watch. The James Armistead video you can watch after the lesson if you want, but the subject-verb agreement you should pause right now and you should watch. This is the login information and the password. It's a review. You have seen this video before, but we're going to be spending most of our time today doing subject and verb agreement. So if you want, you can pause this video now and watch the BrainPop video. So to review, we did this last week. Singular and plural subjects. A singular subject just is one person, place, or thing that's doing something in a sentence. So in each of these examples, the man yells, Miss Mo walks, the book was exciting. Each of those subjects that's in blue, that is the actual subject. That's the who or what is doing something in the sentence. A plural subject is more than one person, place, or thing that the sentence is about. So the ducks quack, the kids want to play outside, those stores, you could see there's more than one. So when we're doing subject-verb agreement, it's important that we know whether or not our subject, the who or what is doing something, is actually just one person, place, or thing, or two people, places, or things. It sounds weird when I say that, but it's important that we know that in order to correctly write the correct verb. All right, so review action verbs. We're not going to talk too much about action verbs today. An action verb is obviously an action. It's what the subject does. So in each of these examples, you can see chases, laughs, slammed. All those things are actually actions or things that a subject can do. Today, though, we're going to be focusing on to be verbs. So a lot of times we're talking about a subject in a sentence, and we want to say something, we want to say something about its being, like something is something, and obviously, like, we don't know how to is, right? Like, is not something you can do. Like, are, like, they are, like, you can't are, right? So a to be verb is just that. It's a linking verb that links or connects the subject to the predicate without showing any action. So it's not an actual physical action or something that somebody can do, it's just something that they are. So in this sentence example, Maddie is my dog. The is connecting Maddie and my dog, but is not something she can physically do. Like, she just is my dog. That's something she's being my dog. So all of these are examples of to be verbs. Use them all the time. You just probably haven't thought about it before. You are really funny. He is a great singer. They are older than us. We are excited for the movie. I am a teacher. So again, when we're picking the to be verb to use, it depends on whether something is singular or plural. So it's a little bit easier because like anytime you use I and you want to say is, you're going to say, you don't say I is hungry, right? That sounds crazy. Or I are hungry. If it's singular and you're using am, I am hungry, right? So this is the example. Singular, if you're just talking to one person, singular, doesn't matter because it's plural too. You are happy. You don't say you is happy, right? Or you am happy. You are happy. And for any singular subject that is like he, she, it, George Washington, one person, place, thing that you're talking about, except for I and you. I and you are the exceptions, remember. But for any singular subject, one person, place, or thing that you're talking about, you're going to use is. So example, Miss Reed is tired. It is cute. The book is boring. So it's only one person, place, or thing that you are talking about. Remember, again, you're using is. Now, plural, so if we're talking about more than one person, is pretty simple because you're always going to use the same verb for the to be. So we are noisy. If you have we, you're always going to use are. We are noisy. You don't want to say we is noisy, we am noisy, right? It sounds crazy. You, if are, helpful. Are for you, for no matter whether you, if you have one person they're talking to or more than one person they're talking to with you, you'll still use are. You always use are with you. And again, if you have plural subjects like they, the animals, the students, the teachers, you're still going to use are. So it's pretty easy to remember no matter what. If your subject is plural, you're always going to use are. So the animals are wild. They are sad. So Remember, singular is the only time you really have to think about it if it's am or is. But plural, you're always going to use are. And remember, in the singular, am and are are really the only ones you have to kind of think about too, because they're the exceptions. You're pretty much always going to use is for plural. Today we're going to look at suffixes, so you add them to the end of a root word. Able and able, they literally both mean able to. They have the definition in the suffix. So able to do something, something that you can do. Right, so it's a little bit confusing whether or not a word should have able or able on it, and you really can tell best once you have the word written in front of you. So this is usually the rule of the thumb. This is called the general rule of thumb. This usually works. This is usually a rule people follow. If you remove able from the end of a word, you're usually left with a complete word. So look at renewable. If I take off able on the end of it, I still have the word renew, and that's still a word, right? But however, usually if I remove able from the end of a word, I'm not left with a complete word. So the word like sensible, if I take off able, I'm left with sense, and that's not the sense that we normally use. Like normally sense would be having an E on it. But also just remember that these ones in the bottom, accessible, contemptible, digestible, flexible, suggestible, they're all exceptions. So it's kind of easier just to know once you actually have the word, and you kind of have to like approach the word like case by case, word by word. But usually these two rules will work. But again, like these words, they don't fit that rule. So there's always exceptions to the rule. All right, so these are words that we're going to be focusing on with able and able. We have predict. So we want to say something to know in advance. If we want to say somebody is able to know something in advance, it's predictable. This one, portable. Comfortable. You can go through these two and read these. Visible and edible. So look at edible too. Is like it has the IV because eat. We don't say something's eatable. We say it's edible and we change it to able. Reviewing, prefix in and im. Remember, if you add im or in on the beginning of a word, it means not. The prefix im is added to the beginning of words, beginning with letters M, P, and B. But anything else, you will add in to the beginning of words. So remember, possible, impossible, correct, incorrect. And remember, again, the im only goes on words that are spelled a certain way. So you have a Google assignments to do. You have a Google Doc about subject-verb agreement, and you have a Google form about morphology. Make sure you watch those videos and catch up on any lessons that you may be behind on.